Matty coming at you with another Final Fantasy episode. I do apologise for the delay in between episodes. It's been almost 2 months since the last upload, since the last dungeon episode. So big apologies for that. But I'm back on it again. You know how things work, real life gets in the way, and I got a little bit sidetracked with Planet Coaster, but here I am back on Final Fantasy, ready to go into the next dungeon. And today we are going to go as a paladin. No more reading out the descriptions because no one cares about them anymore. Let's just hop straight into the dungeon. So off we go. The dungeon has popped. And off we go. So I'm just popping my macro again, just letting people know. And I'm going as a paladin, which is a tank. So I'm going to lead the way. And this is Stone Vigil. This is a level 41 dungeon. I always quite liked this dungeon, actually. It's a little bit dark and dreary, not going to lie, but I always quite enjoyed it. There's some quite good pulls in this dungeon. You can pull quite a lot, but just for the start, I thought I would just pull these 2 mobs only. We'll see how the healer and the DPS get on. As I went through the dungeon, I did realise that the DPS was a little bit on the low side, but the healer did a really good job. There was a little bit of a mishap midway through the dungeon, spoiler alert. Mostly my fault, if honest, but these things happen. But here we go, just killing this first mob. So I've got these 6 enemies here. I'm just making sure to rotate my cooldowns, doing my AoE rotation, just keeping all the aggro of all the enemies. And these dragons, they really are a pain. They hit like an absolute truck. They can be so difficult. They really can. So you want to be careful of how many of them dragons you get all at once. And straight away, just off this first pull, I'd noticed that the healer had run out of MP straight away. So I just give the healer a second just to let their MP regenerate for a second before carrying on. I mean, with a high-leveled healer and some high-level DPS, you can actually do that first pull and actually pull all the way into this room as well. It's a tricky pull. I'm not going to lie. You need a good team to pull this off, and you need to be really rotating all your defensive cooldowns to actually pull it off. But it can be done, but it is tricky. But as you can see, there's quite a few enemies just in this one room alone, and they are all doing a lot of AoEs as well, so I'm doing a lot of dodging as well simultaneously. Something that the monk unfortunately didn't do. I'm sorry, the ninja, not the monk. The ninja didn't actually avoid all of that, and they died, unfortunately. So, of course, that's going to slow us down with killing the mob. The ninja, even though it's a melee DPS, it's actually got some quite good AoE capabilities, actually. I'd probably say it's even a little bit better than the bards. People may disagree with me on that one. I'm not a big bard player or ninja player, so I don't profess to be an expert on either of them, but when I have leveled them up, I personally felt that the ninja was maybe a little bit more OP than the bard was, but I just don't like the bard. Apologies, bard players. It's just not a job for me. I love Machinist and Dancer, which are both range DPS, the same as a bard, but nah, bard doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid. Not my cup of tea. But let's just kill this last dragon. Just compliment the healer before moving on. The only thing with sometimes like kind of complimenting people in a dungeon like this is sometimes people don't think you're being genuine. I've been in dungeons before and I've been like, oh, really good healing, or well done, and they've been like, are you being sarcastic? And I'm like, no, you genuinely did a good job. I'm actually being nice. which is a shame that people sometimes just jump to that assumption that you are maybe being a little bit toxic. As I've said before, I'm not toxic, just passionate. There's a big difference. I'll just grab this last bunch of enemies just before we walk into the first boss. These 5 aren't too bad, to be honest. They're relatively easy. These little flyers, not too bad at all. So just nuking these down. It's the same as the past dungeons that we've done, because they're so low. It is a little bit boring. I've got barely any skills, to be honest. I mean, of course, you can see that I've got more skills than I did in previous dungeons, but I'm still nowhere near utilising the full hotbar. I mean, to be honest, it's probably a good thing, actually, because I haven't really been on Final Fantasy for ages. The last dungeon that I did was uploaded on the 15th of July, and I think since then I've nipped on once. Planet Coaster has just taken all of my time, and I've also been playing Formula 1 2021 a lot as well. Something I haven't been putting on the channel, to be honest, because there's quite a few good Formula 1 YouTubers out there, like Araver, Tia McMurdoch UK. I don't really want to be stepping on their toes, and plus I'm not that good. To be honest, I don't play with expert difficulty or anything like that. Well, no, master. I play on expert. I play on, I think it's 90 difficulty, but I'm not on the full 110. I'm not that good, unfortunately. So, but here we are in the first boss. Oh, this boss sucks. It just takes forever. It goes on for ages. What he does is he'll move to one side of the arena to the other. And then he'll face out and do a huge, like, room-wide AoE. So when he starts running to a side of the room, basically you just need to follow him to the other side of the room and stand behind him, just to make sure that you don't get hit. So in a second he's about to move off. Any second now. Any second now. There you go. Right, so he tootles off to the other side, faces this way, and then just does a big move right into the centre of the room. Anybody that stood in that will take a hefty hit. Probably won't kill you, unless of course, like, kind of, you're already low health, in which case you will definitely die. But yeah, that's basically the boss, to be honest. Nothing to it. It just takes a while to go down, like I say, especially with the DPS maybe being a little bit on the lower side as well. We've got a ninja who is unsynced, and the bard was actually new as well for this dungeon, so something I didn't realise till the very end of the dungeon, actually. I never actually realised that the bard was new, so I didn't actually give any pointers. Bad mentor over here. Oh, there we go. Final few killing blows. There we go. Easy peasy. So, let's open the chest. Just grats on the levelling up for the ninja. So, open the chest, past that, 'cause I don't want that. And off we go. So, this is where I made a mistake. Just a quick pause here, just while I answer the healer. I'm not going to lie, I can't remember where I actually got this glamour from. I think it's a level 81 from the main quest, I think, but I'm not 100% on that. I honestly cannot remember where I got it from. But just answering the healer there, and off we go. So I pull these. I'm not actually sure what happened here, if honest. Watching this back, I might actually have a bit of a better idea what actually happened as to why we died, because I'm not sure what actually happened. Oh, I've just seen it. Okay, right, I think somebody pulled more enemies from the room up the top, and I never even realised. Right, so we've got that zoo there, and there's also another flyer that's going around, so that flyer is attacking the bard. And then obviously the healer's then having to focus on the bard to prevent the bard from dying. which meant that I died. Right, I didn't realise that. So there we go. Watching it back, I've now actually realised what actually happened. So yeah, I just didn't realise that the bard had pulled more enemies from another room. So they got the aggro. They were dying. The healer focused on them to heal them, and I died because of that. So yeah, a little bit of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other there, to be honest. But yeah, these things happen. Never mind. No point in being funny about it. So we'll just teleport back again. So this video will be a bit longer than the previous dungeon videos. I think I had one that was about 15 minutes, I think, because we were able to speed run it. I think one of the longest ones I've had was about 20 odd minutes, I think, something like that. This one's just shy of half an hour. So it was a little bit on the slow side, this dungeon. But good news, this is not the only dungeon that I have filmed. I've also filmed the next couple of dungeons as well. So I will have a couple of more dungeons to put up on the channel over the upcoming weeks. So it won't be 2 months till the next dungeon. I am still planning on doing the entire dungeon series, literally from Satasha all the way through to the very end of Shadowbringers, and then we'll be able to move into Endwalker's dungeons when that comes out. Be able to experience them for the first time as well. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to playing the new jobs as well that come out. Sage and Reaper. That was the one. Couldn't even remember what it was called then. So that'll be interesting. Well, I was just taking it a little bit easier this time coming into the room. I didn't want to pull it all again and make the same mistake again. Obviously, with not knowing why we died the first time, I just wanted to be a bit more careful. But we'll go up and pull this room. Just constantly making sure to rotate my cooldowns, using arm's length to slow them down, using reprisal so they do less damage, using my shields and everything as well. Just doing everything I can to just help the healer out, make their life a bit easier. But they're, even despite that, they're still having to like spam cure over and over, which of course does then lead to a lack of MP as well. It also doesn't help as well when the DPS is a little bit lower, so of course it takes longer for enemies to die as well, but never mind. So just finish off this dragon before moving round. Apologies, that's my dog in the background, just having a good old scratch. So apologies if that just came through on the mic. And because somebody's a bit low, I might just pull these as well actually. Just have a couple more enemies so the ninja can just have a bit more experience. Pull them there just so the ninja can get their positionals. Oh, we've got a dragon coming in as well, so a few more enemies than I anticipated. So a bit of a challenge for the healer here. Just make sure to put all them cooldowns back, rotating round again. Got 6 more seconds left on my defensive cooldown, so I'll put that on in a second. Oh, healer's doing a really good job here. Not a bad job at all. And they're dying nice and quick as well this time. Just make sure to dodge them AoEs. There we go, get rid of that dragon, he's the danger one. And then these sprites aren't too bad at all. Right, and then let's walk around here, and this leads towards the second boss. So I've just got a couple more enemies just to go. I was just giving the healer a second just for their MP to regenerate just before we go into the second boss room. Well, just before we go to this mob, should I say. So we've only got the 3 enemies here. We'll make sure to dodge them AoEs again. So we work our way round to the second boss. Now, I know at the start of the dungeon that I said I quite like this dungeon, but I really don't like the bosses in this dungeon. I don't like any of the bosses in this dungeon, actually. They all suck. This one's like, I mean, as a tank, there's literally just nothing to do at all. I just stand here at the side and just pummel him. What happens is a dragon will fly down just outside there, and somebody just has to fire a cannon at him to get rid of him. Now, in this dungeon, it took ages to kill him now, and we almost died, and I'm not sure why. So once again, it's actually nice to be able to watch it back and actually be able to like look around and actually see what went wrong. So yeah, they interacted with the cannon to get rid of the dragon, so that wasn't a problem. So, because a little part of me wondered maybe was the dragon there for too long or something, but no, somebody's interacting with it again. Oh, did they actually? Right, maybe just a little bit on the slow side, possibly. Maybe, I'm not actually sure. But I just know that we started taking some hefty hits as the fight went on. He also spawns these kind of like little tornado things as well, which makes it very difficult to get to the cannons, especially if the tornadoes do actually specifically block the cannon that you need to get to. Which I think is what was happening there. So the bard was obviously trying to interact with the cannon, but the hurricanes were hitting them at the same time. So, and the dragons just come down there, and the hurricane is right in the way of the cannon, so actually stopping them from. Right, so that was why we were struggling then, because just towards this end bit here, we really did start taking some pummeling. I mean, as you can see, the bard's almost dead, the ninja's not far off dead. I'm very quickly approaching death. I'm starting to put some cooldowns on, which I don't normally do in bosses. I normally save them for mobs, to be honest. But the healers managed to get us back up to full health again. But we've got like the two different tornadoes. We've got icicles going off all over the place. Bard's almost dead. Healer's got hit by something and died. So it's just a question of now, can we kill the boss before he kills us, because we've got no heals coming in now. So literally give it absolutely everything. Pummel him as quick as possible, which is what the two DPS were doing, which was a really good job as well, rather than trying to stop that dragon on the outside. Really good call to just absolutely nuke the boss, which is what we did. So there you go, past them items. And wait for the healer to come back. This last bit of the dungeon is fun. It's the most difficult part, because these mobs are actually quite tough, because it just gives you loads of these dragons, and like I said at the start, they really do hit like a freight train as well. So you do have to like kind of kill them as quick as possible. You got 3 of them here back to back. Now normally I would probably pull these around a little bit more and maybe just have a bit of a bigger mob, but just because of the way this dungeon's gone, to be honest, I didn't really want to push my luck, to be honest. We've had enough death in this dungeon for one playthrough, thank you very much. I don't want any more, don't want any more wipes. Well, there we go, 2 down, 1 to go. I'll actually stun this one. Something I've been forgetting to do all dungeon, I don't know why. I guess it don't really matter too much stunning like single enemies if there's a great big mob, because you're dodging loads of AoEs simultaneously anyway. So yeah, you can stun one of them, but what difference does it make, because you're still having to move anyway. So, but if it's just the one enemy there, you can stun him and prevent that AoE from going off. So just chucking the reprisal on there to make sure that they do 10% less damage, especially with having like 2 dragons and 3 of the sprites all simultaneously. I mean, this is what I mean. I could have tried to stun one of them moves, but what's the point? Because I was then dodging other AoEs anyway, so it didn't really make too much difference, to be honest. But let's get these down. Dodge the AoE again. And there we go, and just one right left. Now a little part of me was tempted to pull these round into the final mob room, but when I ran round, I then remembered there's 3 dragons in there. I thought that's probably not a good idea. 3 dragons and 3 sprites would have most likely equaled death. So I made the executive decision to not do that. I choose life. I'll kill one first. There you go, that'll be fine. 3 dragons and 2 sprites, I'll be alright. Because the sprites are pretty much dead anyway, so putting a reprisal on again. Putting some shields up. Dodge them AoEs again. I can't wait to get later on in this series, guys, so you can start seeing some of the more beautiful dungeons. Some of the dungeons we've got coming later on are just incredible. They're so good. The next dungeon we've got is the Damsel Darkhold. Not one of my better dungeons, I must admit. I don't particularly like it. It's quite dark and dreary and just not very good, to be honest. But we're almost done with the original Realm Reborn ones, so we're getting there. But here we go, final boss. There's quite a hefty cutscene there, a main story cutscene. It goes on for about 2 minutes, so I edited that part out. I kind of guessed that you didn't really want to kind of like sit there for 2 minutes waiting while somebody watches the cutscene, so yeah, we'll cut that bit out. So here we are, final boss, Bind. I've got no idea how to say that, but it's a dragon, so it's cool. I mean, let's be honest, it's quite a small dragon. It's no Drogon, is it, from Game of Thrones? He's an itty-bitty dragon in comparison. So, but this boss can actually be quite tricky, actually. So what he does is he goes up in the air, and then he will light up that area of the floor with ice, and then he'll do like a zoom right through. And it's quite tricky to see it, actually. It can be quite tricky. Well, even if you do see it, it can sometimes be difficult to then dodge it as well, especially if you're in like the wrong area of the room when he does it. I think I actually got caught the once in one of them in this fight now, despite the fact that obviously I knew what I was looking for, just of where he was going to fly. I just couldn't move out of the area quick enough, and it does do a fair old hit as well. But Healer did a great job again, keeping me up. I believe the ninja did die a couple of times, but we still managed to do it. Spoiler alert. Thank goodness. It's been a long video. We're all tired now. We've had enough. So just keep rotating them cooldowns. See, this was bad on my part as well. I got in position, so the only way that the ninja could really hit him properly was by standing in the ice, so that was a little bit my bad, actually, as well. I could have moved him out of the way. I just didn't realise, if honest. But then the bard then goes and stands in it, just randomly anyway, not sure why. But what I've done now is I've tried to intentionally move him away from the ice on the floor, so the ninja can actually get a better angle on him, without obviously standing in the danger zone. So, over halfway there, we're getting there. But this is the tricky bit, because he'll start doing, like, zooming through a couple of times now, back to back. So he'll drop all these AoEs on the floor, which will stay there. And then he'll light up the floor as well, so you've then got to like kind of dodge the floor and dodge the AoEs that are already down simultaneously. It can be quite tricky, actually. And like I said, that's where I got caught out. I just couldn't move quick enough at all. So the ninja got hit twice and died. The bard got hit twice and almost died. The healer's got barely any MP, so is unable to now raise the ninja, so... Oh well. We still did it. Just a little bit slower now. We've got the limit break 2 built up as well. But without the ninja up to use it, there's barely any point in using it, to be honest. And even when the ninja got up, they still didn't use it anyway, so... Oh well. So we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Why won't you die? I mean, seriously, how many times have I actually slashed his neck with that sword? I mean, come on, he should be dead by now. I'm doing some hefty hits on him as well, look. Those are some heavy sword hits. That should have actually chopped his head off by now, surely. But no, he doesn't seem phased. Ah, 'tis but a flesh wound. So dodge the AoEs on the floor again, and again. And then dodge the one that goes through the floor. Nowhere near me, thankfully, this time. Oh, so the ninja actually got back up again and then died again. I didn't even realise that. Oh, go figure. Right, 15% left. Come on. Final push. We can do it. Rotate them cooldowns. Help the healer out. Make sure that they haven't got to heal me so they can just get their MP back and raise the ninja. 10%. Come on, we can do it. Because I'm pretty much full health and got shields on as well, the healer's able to throw in some DPS as well, which does help. But there we go, finally. So, it's been a long dungeon, but we got there in the end. You can't always speedrun every dungeon. But there we go, another dungeon down. 10 dungeons done, about 90 more to go. This is going to be a long series. But anyways, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Apologies that there was such a big delay, but I will try and keep on top of it now and try and upload dungeon videos a bit more often. But thank you ever so much, guys. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and I will see you soon for more Final Fantasy content. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Goodbye, everybody.